Well, hello and welcome to a rather sunny mid-June afternoon. Welcome to my channel, The Optimistic Gardener. My name is Steve Farley. Well, I'm in the middle, it being mid-June, of starting to put a few pots and getting the sort of the pool deck ready for really summer proper, when the days are sultry hot and we can laze around doing nothing on the weekend and quickly dive in the pool for a cool off. But as I said, and as you can see, I've got a few pots starting to be put out. They're not showing much at the moment, you know, I've only just planted them up and the plants are small. Got those nice, I don't know what the red things are, but I like the look of those. I've got a false, what is it called? A castor oil plant in the big grey pot you can see there, and that could grow 6 feet tall. I had one in here last year, and as you can see, it was a big thing in the end. I'm not sure if I'm going to plant one of them in there this year, but at the moment this bed has gone a bit out of control, so I thought I'd get you to join me while I sort of take it apart. I've got hostas in here, a couple of hostas, as you can see, and they have got far too big, and I've been instructed by Mrs. F to put one of them in this great big grey pot that you can see. I think it will look good in there actually. I think it's a good idea from Mrs. F, but I've got to extricate it from this actual, oh, there's a hummingbird up there, shame you can't see it. Anyway, I've got to extricate it from these beds, and also what has turned up this year is some stinging nettles, which is quite weird, as stinging nettles are not actually natural to Canada, I don't think, but they have turned up, and so I need to get them out without stinging myself. But what I thought I'd do is I'll plant them somewhere so that I can use them, because they make really good organic liquid fertilizer. So if you grow these, if you cut them up, stick them in a bucket, soak them in the water for a couple of weeks, absolutely superb fertilizer. And they also make good tea apparently, but I'm not going to go for that one. But the fertilizer, great. So I'm going to dig these out. What else have I got in here? There's a lily, I'm going to leave that there. Oh, have you seen the banana plants? They've come on nicely, haven't they, since I actually took them out of storage earlier on in the spring. Coming on nicely. They should grow a good couple of feet this year, so I'm pleased with them. But anyway, back to the bed. First of all, I'm going to try and get this stinging nettle out, so bear with me. Right, so rubber protective gloves for these nettles. I spent quite a bit of my youth while exploring the countryside of England, and when I lived in Wales, falling into various different patches of stinging nettles, and it jolly well hurts, I can tell you. So, where is... Aha! Ow! Yep, already stung myself. I'll get the rest of the weeds out later. There we go. They start to run quite well, as you can see, underground. So I'm going to plant these up somewhere, and they'll provide me with some good fertilizer in the years to come. Right, let's go for the hosta next, I think. So, hostas are well known for being a complete pain in the bottom to get out. Hopefully these haven't been in that long, that's going to be a bit of a nightmare, but they've got very fibrous, very tough roots all stuck together. So I'm going to split these up and see if that makes it easier to get them out. was definitely a job I should have carried out a little bit earlier in the season. Aha! A few hours later, we have one. I know I'm going to break quite a few stems here, but hopefully I should be able to keep enough of the plants for them to still look good this year. Check out the stem of that castor oil plant, Rossini, that I planted last year. I'll keep going, I may be a while. So there's the next bit. Should be able to make at least 6 plants out of all of these, I think. 6 new plants, which should be good. Got lots of places I can put them. Right. On to the next one. Right, so that is the last of it. Big massive piece. I've wrecked it a bit, but I'm going to put this outside. So I realise it looks like I gave these hostas a right good kicking, and that's because I did. But the one good thing about hostas is they are essentially bulletproof. And I could, you know, if I really wanted to, make at least 10, 12, 15 plants out of, you know, the 2 that I have. Unfortunately, because I gave them a bit of a kicking, I'm not sure that the pot, this one here, display that Mrs. F wanted me to produce is going to look as good as I was hoping it was going to be. But we shall see. And I just wanted to show you these roots. I've just sliced this plant I've got here in 2. And you can see here the thick, really thick, fibrous root there. You know, you've got all the outside roots, but this massive thick bit in the middle is the bit that's always difficult to actually get out the ground and separate the plants. So what I'm going to do, so I've got another plant there, you know, it looks, I'm going to cut the leaves all back. As long as this root, you know, it's got a nice bit of a root ball there, that will survive nicely in a new position. I might not put them back in where they were because they look, I think they're too big for the area. Get too big too quick. So here's that hosta, nice big pot. I think that'll fit in there. And if I just cut off some of these broken bits, that broken. This should essentially be all right if I put a nice bit of compost in there. I know, it's looking a bit floppy, but it will be all right once it gets a chance. Right, I'm just going to put a bit more compost in here, give it a good watering, and then leave it to its own devices for a couple of weeks before I decide whether I'm going to put it in its position on the patio. Shade or sun, the old hostas love. Obviously they work well in shade, but a sunny position they work well in too. So I shall put this to the side. Now I've got to tidy these up, find somewhere for them to go, and then I'll let's get back to the actual matter in hand, the raised bed, tidying that up and see what we're going to do with it next. Well, welcome back. Well, I've got right on and finished everything. Been a bit drastic, as you can see. You know, all the hostas are gone, and I was a bit up in the air of what I was going to put back in there. I've mostly put back in some annuals while I think about how I'm going to sort of change it over the next year or so. So what I have done, I know I said I wasn't going to do it, but I'm actually putting back in the castor oil plant that the same sort of one as I put in last year. Again, as you can see, massive, beautiful architectural leaves, etc. And the reason I did it was because of that, and Mrs. F told me to as well. she said it made it look, you know, really tropical in around the pool last summer. So I've gone and put it back. You know, I agree with her really. The only reason I didn't want to do it was because I thought we might put some more shade here than you know we've already got. But you know, it makes up for it for that big, you know, with the banana plants here, big architectural plants, the fern, etc. Gives it that sort of tropical feel. And I've added in another fern there, as you can see, a little small one, just at the front. I like the ferns, and that's a really shady area there, so it's a good place for it to be. Other than that, I've put a couple of dahlias in. Not sure what the flowers are, but they'll grow up nicely. A little pelargonian hiding behind this lily, and some other various annuals along the front here. And what's this one again? These gazinias. These gazinias, lovely big orange flowers, so they'll give us some extra sort of amongst all the sort of green, they'll give some nice colour in there as well. Can't believe it started to rain. Sure, it's supposed to be summer. Anyway, there we go, all done. As you can see, the hosta in the plant is looking a bit sorry for itself at the moment, but don't worry, it will perk up. And in that far corner in there, which is another sort of mostly shady area, it will light that up with a nice big pot, the architectural pot, and the big architectural leaves again. So lots of architecture this morning. Anyway, and I've made 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, about 8 different plants around the bazaars. I have put them, cut them up, put them, and they'll recover. You know, again, they're obviously looking a bit sorry for themselves, but they'll recover over the next few weeks and give me all those extra fantastic plants. There we go. Bit of a sort of, you know, bit of an in-between video. Just needed this area needed a good sorting out. I've given it a good sorting out, and hopefully it will be nice and fresh for the summer. Lots of beautiful flowers, lots of architectural leaves, and lots of tropical feel around the pool deck. Job's a good one.